In the regional policy, the criteria for attribution is different because the aim is different, and there it's in a different way. There are other considerations that are taken, economic indicators, population, and others that are taken into consideration to distribute the money. It does not preclude that once the money is allocated to a region or a country, therein the money is allocated competitively. But from the outset, this is not the main mechanism. However, these two policies are complementary because and this is the link with our graph before showing GDP intensity, R&D intensity, etc. Because by having a strong research and innovation policy, we perform better in terms of science. So by investing well with the structural funds resources, we are in a better position to compete in Horizon 2020 or in any other competitive program. The keys to the synergies, which are the two mechanisms, the two keys that make that this complementarity, this synergy works. One is the smart specialization example functionality, which is, as you know, the resources for cohesion policy will not be awarded to a member state if this member state has not presented a national or multiplicity of regional smart specialization strategies. Those, as you know, those that reflect, that build on the strengths of the region or a country to develop and to make strategic investments in research and innovation for the future. So that's one example of nationality. And by having a strategic view of where and how you invest in research and innovation in the country, you get better access to competitive funding. The second is, as you know, in the new cohesion regulations, we have what we call thematic concentration, and one of the things around which the funds have to be spent is precisely research and innovation. We have a look at that now. In the new cohesion policy, we have, in terms of thematic concentration, we have the advanced and transition regions, and there 80% of the funds will have to be allocated to research, development, SMEs, and low carbon. In the less developed regions, this percentage goes to 50%. But still, there is a lot of money in the cohesion policy to be devoted to research and innovation. And we are glad about that, and we are glad that the policy takers have followed the Commission line of putting such an emphasis on investment in research and innovation. And again, this can only be awarded if we have a strong smart specialization strategy, which is absolutely necessary to exploit the synergies with Horizon 2020. If you have a strategy going in one direction and you have Horizon 2020 going in another direction, the synergies have to match. This is possible, of course, but the synergies between the two policies are much more difficult to materialize. There are, as you know, in the past, there were articles even that made it very difficult, if not impossible, the complementarity between the two funding policies. And here, now, we Commissioner proposals and the legislators in their decisions have been careful, very careful, to have articles very explicitly. One can receive funds from both policies. Of course, one cannot ask for reimbursement of the same course into places, that goes without saying nearly, but you can fund something from two different sources. And the easiest thing, there are other ways of doing it, but the easiest thing is that one has a project and the different work packages in the project or undertaking are claimed to one or the other policy according to their own objectives. So we do not, when I say we, it's us and ourselves, we do not have the excuse that now we have regulation which encourages the complementarity in terms of putting the money's resources together on the two policies. The resources and the programming in one of the strategy. Why the cohesion policy? Why does the cohesion policy exist? Because, as we all know, unfortunately, there are there have been main, huge national and regional disparities in research excellence, in research performance, in competitiveness performance, in employment, etc. And if we want to have a level playing field for a real single European market and real union, we need to blur a little bit these disparities. And this is the rationale of the cohesion policy, as you know. And as a consequence of that, there are many consequences of that, but one of them is, as the Minister was reminding us this morning, that a number of countries are not performing that well in competitive programs such as Horizon 2020. And this difference in performance in Horizon 2020 are due to a number of factors. Some of them are structural. I come again to the strength of a national R&I policy. The lack of synergies between the different instruments, either within the country or in the use that they are made from the EU instruments, that there are not capabilities built in, and therefore it's very difficult to compete, and that perhaps systems are sometimes too closed and do not have a real contact or real either openness or sometimes access to international networks. This is why the legislator has wisely decided that there would be some resources devoted to spread excellence, because excellence, as someone was saying, cannot be everywhere, but can be anywhere. And to spread this excellence, to unlock the potential of this excellence that can be anywhere, there are a number of activities which I'll go through now that are addressing this innovation gap. The first of those, you will not be surprised if I put that one first, is the policy support facility. If we are saying to be strong, we need a strong research and innovation policy. The first thing that we need to do is to put in place a service, a more structured service. We already had some activities, but more structured service to help those that wish to design and implement their national or regional policies. So this is a service addressed mainly to public authorities, where one can have either benchmarking exercises, peer reviews, expert advice, access to databases, case studies, so that policies can be well built and if I can say, in a world-class, with a world-class parameters. That's from policy side. But then we will have funding for a number of actions. One of them is the ERA chairs. You might have heard of a first pilot call, which was launched last year. And the ERA chairs is an action which focalizes very much on the human side of things. And what are they? There's some money which is given to an institution to attract outstanding academics, to institutions which have a clear potential for excellence. And in order for this institution or this group to realize its potential and to have an environment which is prone to develop excellence. So these are the ERA chairs. I invite you to look at the calls, because these are really very important. As I think it was the director of EIT was saying this morning, innovation is very much about persons. If we don't deal with persons, we don't deal with innovation. We have also another group of activities which we call Teaming for Excellence. And I'm glad I don't have to translate that into Hungarian. We say that in English, teaming. What are we talking about there? There we are talking about the setting up, the creation, or the total upgrading of a research institute, of a center of excellence, which is located in a low-performing R&I member state or a region. There, what are we doing? We'll be doing calls. Everything is done via calls, of course. And there, the proposer will be the proposer, which can be if the institution exists, but the existing institution. If not, someone who has a legal personality to apply. Showing first the potential that needs to be exploited. It's sort of business plan, a SWOT analysis of what what is in it, what can be done in the future, which are the resources that are in there, and of course, what is the place of such an institution, either to be created or to be upgraded? What's the place of that institution into the smart specialization strategy I was referring to some minutes ago? No point in having a strategy going that way and creating centers of excellence there. And of course, if we are dealing with smart specialization strategies, we have to have this, the proposers have to come with a clear commitment from the regional authorities that they are ready to invest resources there, whether these resources are coming from the structural funds or from own national or regional funds, it doesn't matter. But there has to be a commitment from the regional or national authorities so that there is some likelihood of sustainability of what is being created. There has to be also, you don't create, you know very well that, you don't create sector excellence in the middle of nowhere. You have to have, or to build links with the economic territory, the economic network which is around it. So you have to have links with the industrial clusters. You have to have links with the local or regional authorities, with the society which you have around you. And after some time, so first phase is you have a sort of business plan where you develop the idea, a little bit like the SME instrument I was talking this morning. So you have an idea and you show how this idea is put into music. Then there is evaluation, peer review, as we were saying before, for any other parts of Horizon 2020. And then for a few number of projects, there will be some seed money to implement, to roll out this strategy, this business plan that is being submitted. And after a number of years, if those that perform best will not have money, but will have a sort of label of excellence that would hopefully open the doors for yet further expansion. There, in teaming, we would have one entity. The minimum is one entity from the low-performing region and one entity for a high-performing region or country. It doesn't matter. When we go to the twinning, there it's lighter in the sense that here we are not creating or upgrading something, we are reinforcing and strengthening links of an already existing team or institute in a very defined field, in a very precise field. And there we make that the obligation is that to make links between that team located in a low-performing region with two leading institutions. So there we are expanding. Why here 3 and there 2? In first 2. In the first case is something which is deeper, if I can say, and stronger. It can be a little bit more complex. So we didn't want to make things very complicated by obliging everyone to be at 3. So in teaming, something deep, strong, very long-term, 2 partners are the minimum. Of course, if one come more. In twinning, it's something which is a little bit lighter without being pejorative. I mean, it's something which already exists, you need to reinforce. And there we would be paying for staff exchanges. We will be supporting summer schools, attendance to conference. I mean, activities that would reinforce the excellence that's already existing. And of course, it is encouraged that these activities are also part or are coherent with, again, the smart specialization strategy. So you can see how important it is that in this moment where these strategies are being prepared by national and regional authorities, that any of the ideas that you see, that you think should be there, have to come up to your authorities. We are in a crucial moment of negotiation. We're saying that we all know that in a closed system, in a closed economy, you cannot be competitive in any of the sense. So we thought that to, again, reinforce excellence there where it is, cost, which is a very well-known intergovernmental activity existing since the 70s, could help because you know the powerful and extensive networks that cost has and its popularity. And COST has decided that part of these activities would precisely be devoted to widening the participation, to diminish this innovation divide, and try and find and put together these pockets of excellence. I think it was Mr. Butcher this morning saying that we can do whatever we want, but if we don't have the right information, we cannot go very far. So we will have to, and we are hopefully already doing that, reinforcing the communication and support measures so that everyone is aware of what are the possibilities, what are the opportunities for unlocking the potential that exists there. The network of NCPs is certainly a very important tool, and I know there are many of them in this room, and I invite you all to use them in the noble sense of the word. And we are in Brussels also, and we can help as much as we can. We will have Peter Herwig this morning showed us how we are improving our communication tools so that you have all the information you need at hand. There are several web pages where you can find this, but the message is think of what you need, think of what is useful, think long-term, make the link between research policy and regional policy. And now it's the crucial moment where the partnership agreements are being finalized, where the operational programs are being thought of, and where the first call for proposals for Horizon 2020 are about to come. So that's your moment, the moment you have to seize to do all the fantastic things that Hungary can do. Thank you very much.